John Lennon would have been 80 this year. One of the many terrible things about his death is that it robbed us of so many years of music he likely would have created. He was only 40 years old when he was murdered. And according to a new book by Tim English, he was just at the beginning of a creative rebirth.
English says Lennon was listening to reggae, new wave, and even ambient music at that time, and it was all inspiring him. The book is called John Lennon 1980 Playlists, and Tim joins us now. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jen, Sarah.
Good morning. So what inspired you or intrigued you about 1980 to kind of dig into that year, the last year of John Lennon's life?
Well, I mean, it was an interesting time anyway. We're coming up to the beginning of, the end of the 60s hangover of the 1970s and entering the 80s. John Lennon said that, he'd been off on a 5-year hiatus at the beginning of 1980. And he later said that the music of 1980 was the best time for music since the 1960s. So he really got inspired by what was going on musically that year. And that really affected his decision to go back into the studio. He heard the Queen song, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, which was a #1 hit in the US early in the year. And he heard them doing Elvis in that song. And he was a huge Elvis fan. He said, hey, this is my time again. This is my type of music. Maybe it's time for me to come back.
Well, a lot of books have been written about him, about John Lennon in the past here. So tell us what this book does differently.
Well, I tried to bring a lot of stuff to the table that other books had ignored. I mean, it's always a challenge when you're writing about somebody like John Lennon, who's had so much written about him, so many books. And I tried to include some things in there by using the window of the music that he was listening to try to give readers some insights into what was going on in his life and to provide some new information. For instance, I document that the song Watching the Wheels got its title from a Doobie Brothers song that was on their Minute by Minute album. That was the album that contained What a Fool Believes. John had a copy of that album, and as I document in the book, he had been working on an earlier version of Watching the Wheels, but I believe he took the title from that Doobie Brothers song. It's such an unusual phrase to complete his song, Watching the Wheels, for Double Fantasy.
I'm curious how you got your information for what he was listening to, because it's hard to imagine him making that public. Did you talk to people he knew or did extra research that it was written down somewhere?
Well, there are different ways. I mean, he did give interviews where he said, for instance, that he liked Olivia Newton-John's song Magic. He is on record. One of the people who worked on Double Fantasy with him said that he liked Christopher Cross. He liked Christopher Cross's song Sailing, for instance. He heard Paul McCartney's song Coming Up in the spring of 1980, and by two different accounts, he was quite taken with that song and really recorded a song that was sort of an answer song to that called I Don't Want to Face It. He's in a disco in Hamilton, Bermuda in June, and he hears the B-52's song Rock Lobster. He hears them doing Yoko in that song, which they were, and John got really excited by that. He said, wow, the world is finally caught up to what John and Yoko were doing 10 years previously. We need to get back in the studio. So the music he was listening to sometimes has played a crucial role in some of the decisions he made that year.
Yeah, I mean, so included in your book, you write about 3 songs that specifically inspired him to write a song of his own in 1980s. Were those some of those songs you just mentioned there, or are you talking about 3 other songs?
One of them was Coming Up, yeah, where Coming Up really inspired him to write I Don't Want to Face It. Another one was a Bob Marley song called Hallelujah Time, which was actually written by a woman, not written by Bob Marley, but it's on the Bob Marley and the Wailers album Burning. John heard that and it inspired him to complete his song Borrowed Time. The other one was John he had heard Bob Dylan's album Slow Train Coming back in the end of 1979, and he wrote a song called Serve Yourself in response to Dylan's song You Gotta Serve Somebody.
You also mentioned that the music influenced crucial decisions he made in his personal life. How so? Do you have any examples of that?
Well, the Rock Lobster would be an example of that, how he had that song really inspired him to get back in the studio, probably, and Paul's Coming Up also. Then the weird thing at the end, which as I say, I try to bring things to the table that many people don't know, including hardcore Beatlemaniacs. I document the reason why he was back in the studio just 2 weeks after Double Fantasy had come out. Double Fantasy came out on November 17th, and by the first week of December, he's back in the studio working on the Yoko track, Walking on Thin Ice, kind of an eerie song to be working on in light of when we know what happened. But John had heard that the disco, the Peppermint Lounge, was playing Yoko's Double Fantasy track, Kiss, Kiss, Kiss. And John said, wow, you know, these hip DJs in Manhattan are playing Yoko's song. Something out specifically for them. And that was what Walking on Thin Ice was going to be. A very adventurous song that maybe gives us a hint to where John was headed musically had he been able to carry on.
All right, well, really interesting information there, Tim English. The book, again, is called John Lennon 1980 Playlist. You can follow Tim on Twitter at Tim English Books. There's his Twitter handle and also his Instagram handle right there as well. Tim, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks, guys.